I'm 69 years old.
Okay, and where were you born?
I was born in Birmingham.
Okay. How long have you been a resident of Rosedale?
Up until 1968, I left. Came back in 91.
Okay, and why did you come back?
My father died, and I came back to be with my mother. She had no one with her, so I just came back to support her.
What's your first memory of Rosedale?
My first memory of Rosedale, I think, as a young kid, going to school for one thing, started the school. That was one thing, and the next one was in the community was probably going to the baseball field and church. You know, watch the old guys play baseball. I was a little boy, like 5, 6 years old, and that was one of the first experience I had in Rosedale, watching older guys play baseball.
Mm-hmm. So did you go to Rosedale?
I went to Rosedale High School.
Okay. And you said you attended church?
Yeah, church here in the city, right.
Okay, can you tell me about that?
One thing about, I remember the church catching on fire. It caught on fire around 1943, I believe, 43, and burned. And I couldn't go to the fire. I could stand on the hill and look at the water go over on the church, And the church burned, and they had church at the high school auditorium, and then they eventually built the first floor, the basement of it, and then went back into the church.
Where was that church located?
Located 2800 block on maybe on Foster Boulevard. It was 18th Place at the time. Bethel AME Church that was started in 1895, and at the present it's still there.
Okay. Right. Were there a lot of people from Rosedale that attended the
everybody
church?
In the community. It was a community-wide church. Most of the people who lived in the community, the church consisted of their membership.
Mm-hmm. I guess how would you describe the word community and what it means to you?
Community means, I guess, the camaraderie that you have with your friends. The unique thing about the community was the fact that your school teachers, grade teachers, lived in the community. You lived around your school teachers, the teachers that taught you at school. You go to church with them, and you pass them in the street. You go to the grocery store, they're in the grocery store. So you have a good relationship,
Would that mean they had a good relationship with your parents?
Yeah, they knew your parents, and they knew you. If your sister was a good student, then they expect for you to do something, because they would always bring that up, that your brother, your sister did such and such a thing. So you had a high standard. The standard of it was pretty high, and you had to meet those goals, though,
What about students that weren't good students?
Naturally, you have problems, but basically, they would bring it back to you. So you try to stretch, you try to reach it and become good students, Yeah.
Okay. When you were growing up, what sort of shopping, or when you lived in Rosedale, where did you shop for foods?
Basically, it was at the grocery store. The chain grocery store was Bruno's, Heels, which is A&P. That's where you get your store. But my mother, she would go downtown. She would go downtown to pick up certain items that you get a better price, better cost in downtown than you would in Homewood. So she would shop at 2 or 3 different stores. And if you want bread or something, then you had black stores in the community where you want an item, pick up a few items, You run out of milk, you run out of bread, you would just go to we had about 5 grocery stores, convenience stores in the neighborhood. And that was one unique thing about it.
Okay. Did y'all have a garden?
Yeah, my mother had a garden. We had one. We had a garden, She was from the country, so she stayed with that garden. We had one.
What did y'all grow in it?
Corn, peas, potatoes, those items, you know. We had an apple tree in the yard and those things, you know.
So you said you attended Rosedale.
Rosedale.
Schools?
School. One school.
High school?
Yeah, right. And the elementary. It was just the school went from the first grade to the 12th grade. You know, on a different, when you got to the 6th grade, to the 5th grade, you just moved to the back of the building and play in the back of the building rather than in the front. So that's the distinguished grade school from the middle school. And that was one thing, you know.
So you said that the church, your church that you went to,
burned down.
And the school, to my understanding, burned too, right?
Yeah. The school burned down. It started burning in 1932, I think.
And how did all this burning affect members of the community?
We pulled together. And by pulling together, we used the church for the school. All three churches, you know, that we had in the community, we pulled together. They pulled together, and we had school at the church.
Okay.
And that was one good thing about it. We never did miss in the downtime for not having a school. You know, we just started moving that money into a building, you know. The building caught on fire, but it was a strange thing about that fire, the first one. The fact that the county wanted the deeds to the property. Because we had our own school system. We ran our own school system, and they wanted the deeds, and the Board of Education, the Rosedale Board of Education, refused to give up the deeds. And by not giving up the deeds, strange thing happened. The next Sunday, the building caught on fire. Then we started moving into the churches. Then the next Sunday, the next building caught on fire.
Why do you think that's strange?
That's a strange thing, you know, that happened. You know, I guess you can read between lines, but that's what happened to the building. And then at that point, they went on the side to give up the deed. And then they went over and they bought some land on the western side of the community and started building a building for a school. That building caught on fire once they completed it. The building caught on fire, so we went back to the churches. And that was like in 33. And then by doing that, by going back into the building, and back into the new building they built, that one caught on fire. Then we went back to the churches. And then meanwhile, they were still building the building that they have now standing, that we used from 1943 up in 69. We're using the building. And the building caught on fire, but you know, just a strange thing, but that's what happened. Right.
Do you still associate with people that you went to high school with?
Yeah, I do. I keep in contact with. I was the president of the alumni, you know, and we started a reunion in 1991. So every other year we have a reunion, but basically I keep in touch with my classmates as well as other classmates. You know, we have a pretty good relationship, but we get together every other year or so in the community for high school reunion.
Okay, and you said that you're the president of that?
I was the president for a while. I was president for the first 3 reunions or so that we had, you know.
Well, what sort of activities were you involved in at the high school?
I played football on the football team, and I played basketball. We didn't have a baseball team, so I played baseball in the community. But football and basketball was what I played.
Did you play with other members of the community, or did you ever play outside of the community?
Not really. We played in the community, but then, you know, I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to college in basketball. So then I attended college by playing basketball. And that was all because of playing ball at Rosedale that I achieved that goal.
What college did you go to?
Miles College.
Okay. And how was that? How would you describe that experience, college?
It was a beautiful experience that we had, because we only had about 700 students on the campus. And I didn't have a car, so you know how to get your rides, you know who's going where, who's coming, or you want to know who's coming across in downtown. So you get downtown, you get the bus and come home. You very seldom got a ride from the school home because it was like 3 miles further south. But anybody that was coming across town, coming across 20th Street, that's all you need to do. Catch a bus from 20, come down 20, go home, come home. So basically you got rides, and everybody's pretty close together, We didn't need a policeman on the campus or anything like that. We just governed ourselves, with no problems whatsoever.
Right.
Nobody get mad and want to kill up each other. We was just one big happy family.
Okay. And what years did you go to college, or what years?
59 to 63.
Okay. To my understanding, there was a great deal of integration and just racial rights for the Battle of Rights. How did that impact with you going to the historically black
College.
university?
Only thing about it is the fact that blacks play among blacks, as far as school, as far as athletics, was concerned. Only until you complete on the national level, then you enter the school, it would be integrated, like basketball or football. And basketball, we had the experience of playing in a national tournament, which was in Kansas City. We played that 2 years, though, and playoffs also. So we had a pretty good, the experience that we had. But I didn't find no difference, I ain't found no difference at all. Ball players are ball players.
Right.
If you can play, you can play. And so that didn't affect me at all. It didn't bother me to play against white boys. It didn't affect me at all. I enjoyed it, But, you respect each other, And no matter who you play against, you respect them and you play, everybody play to win. And that's all you have to do. You learn that and you have no problem.